Hey guys, it's Roderick. I'm here with X-Force number 44. So here we are continuing on into kind of like the third part of Fall of X. And just when I was singing the praises and heralds of X-Force 43, X-Force decided to X-Force, right? Because these type of issues are the things that I kind of had problems with the X-Force. Like in the beginning, like it kind of they set up these really great stories, and then they give us an issue where everything's kind of like drag on. They give us a couple of little nuggets, but they really don't really give us anything, right? And that's kind of like what I felt like in this issue, right? So the issue starts off with Domino in Moscow. So as you recall, in X-Force 43, X-Force had been trapped because during the Hellfire Gala, Colossus tricked them into going into a portal or a gate that led them right into Russia, where his brother Mikhail has captured him because Colossus is under the influence of his brother, right? So X-Force 43 sets up this really great narrative where they're all being captured, okay, but we just don't really get a whole lot of traction with this. What we get is Domino in Moscow trying to track down, I guess, a Russian oligarch who's aligned with Mikhail and trying to figure out where the X-Force is being held. Excuse me, he's in a bathhouse. There's like this scuffle. She gets like this ring, right? So we see that X-Force is being trapped in these kind of like reality warping prisons. So that's where Kid Omega is. It is kind of like pocket reality. Colossus and his brother in another pocket reality. Wolverine X is being used as like the training source for all the other super soldiers that Mikhail has, right? So Domino's going there. She gets the ring. She gets shot. Sage brings her back, and they have a kind of no man's land, kind of the thing like Moira had, right? Where they're all kind of hiding out. Black Tom kind of, patches her up. And, so then we're like, well, okay, well, what's going to happen? Like, what's, the whole, like, where is this whole story going, right? Why, I guess it makes sense, right? Like, who can really go and rescue X-Force because all the mutants are really gone, right? And we see the Orchis has really kind of invaded Moscow. But at least the good thing about this issue is that at least we got a hint into kind of what Mikhail's end game is, what his plan is, which does add a very interesting wrinkle to this whole Fall of X situation, right? Because as X-Force is kind of flailing, trying to figure out where people are, we find out, so Mikhail goes to visit the author. So as you recall, the author is the being that has been controlling Colossus by writing these narratives, giving Mikhail like information and intel as to what's going on with the X-Men and the Quiet Council and whatever, right? So on the data pages, we also see that, Sage has kind of figured out kind of when Mikhail took control over Colossus and whether or not that, Colossus is either a agent from Orchis, whether he's just working for his brother, but then now it's determined that Colossus can't be trusted, right? That's pretty much what we saw like in issue 43. But we find out that Mikhail's end game is that he just doesn't want to take control over Russia or Russian forces. He wants Orchis as well, which adds a very interesting wrinkle because now that he wants the author to take control of the leaders of Orchis so he can have Orchis under his control. And the author, being an artist, is like, no, I can't do that. I need to know the relationships, their history, his past. And I don't want to do this whole ish with your brother anyway, but now that I'm emotionally invested in this story, I need to figure out where this story goes, right? Now, Mikhail doesn't really care about the art that the author is invested in. What he really cares about is getting control of Orchis. He delivers their bios, whatever. He's like, fine, then what we'll do is we'll kidnap one of the leaders of Orchis, and then you'll have somebody to draw off of to write their story, and we can send my brother along with them, and if he gets killed, so what, right? So now we kind of see what Mikhail's kind of end game is with Orchis. Now that is a very interesting wrinkle, because so far what we have seen in Fall of X is Orchis is in control, but there's a lot of different other moving pictures, like moving factions that are going on, right? We got Fei Long, who's kind of like Orchis aligned. He's doing his thing. We have the Children of Tomorrow. They're doing their thing. The Avengers and the X-Men are underground. So there's all these different kind of things. I'm still going to ask, where Jimmy Braddock is in all of this. Like, but whatever. I did look up, so Mikal is not an Omega level mutant, but still reality warping powers. So this adds a very different and very interesting wrinkle to what can happen is going on. Because if Orchis thinks that they're just going to be full-on taking over the world, and Mikal thinks that, okay, I'm going to take over Orchis, we're going to end up having a conflict. And why didn't Orchis take him? Since he's a mutant anyway, but I guess it's better to leave one mutant than take a million as opposed to whatever they're doing, right? So that's pretty much what's X-Force 44. Like, we didn't get the big reveal. The ring, I guess, is some kind of, I think, is a gateway into like one of Mikal's pocket realities that they're hidden in like kind of like a black room or a black site. And that's pretty much all the issue gave. Like, we didn't get a whole lot of traction. And again, I'm okay with like plot building and building brick by brick, but this snail pace as some of the books are having, I'm not really feeling it, right? You just can't go from such a huge, monumental event like the Hellfire Gala, the kickoff the Fall of X, and have snooze issues. I'm sorry. Like, it needs to be like boom, 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 every issue. Even if it's not action, we need some character development, we need some plot points. I need to leave every issue during Fall of X being like, wow, 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 wow. That's how you get momentum. That's how you get comic book sales. That I should not be picking up issues from Fall of X and then being like, okay, okay. Like, if you're going to have a whole crossover event, make the event worth it. Make the event draw us in. Make the event be like worth the buy. Make the event being interesting. And I just feel like these, and not just Marvel, like they just comic book companies in general just take advantage of these crossover events and sucker us into buying all these books. And then at the end, we're like, okay, I could have waited for the trade, right? So anyway, that's X-Force 44. It was meh, right? Like, I don't think the payoff of Mikal's big plan was good enough to overcome kind of the meh of what the original book was, right? So we now know that Mikal's going to try to take over Orchis. Okay, like, I would have rather that be the beginning of the book and then we get moving on to whatever. But I don't work for Marvel. I'm not writing comic books. These are just my thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to write. Don't forget to drop down in the comments, subscribe, hit your alert button, share with your friends, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.